I just get back from Turkey. The majority of it was all points. In the middle of COVID, me and a business partner wanted to start an Airbnb arbitrage business. So I had already loved traveling. We joined a coaching program because we wanted to learn how to use 0% APR business funding. But the coaching program that we took also showed how to travel hack because it goes hand in hand with your business expenses. I really dove deep into figuring out points and miles, how to optimize my business expenses. And I have all these renovation costs, vendor costs. I realized, wait a second, I spend so much money on materials, paying my general contractor. I should just earn sign-up bonuses and figure out the best cards to optimize my expenses so I could earn the most points and miles so that I could use it for free travel. And from then on, the rest was history.
What if you could build a business, scale a real estate portfolio, and travel the world for nearly free? Today's guest did just that. Jaina Pallasigui manages 9 rental units from another state. From co-hosting Mint Rentals, mastering the art of credit card points, she teaches entrepreneurs how to fund their business and hack their way around the globe. Welcome to Invest in Rome, where we talk about investing, building wealth, and building the life that you deserve. Jaina regularly redeems over $50,000 in luxury flights and hotels annually using her real estate portfolio and business expenses to earn points and miles to travel the world for next no cost. Jaina, welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much, dear. I'm happy we were finally able to get on together.
I know, because you've been busy traveling. You just got back from a trip from Turkey, right?
Did I just get back from Turkey? The majority of it was all points, so we could talk about that if we really wanted to. And it was so beautiful. One of the top trips I've ever had.
I love Turkey. It's such a beautiful place. And yes, we are going to talk about how you got to travel there for free. I want to know all the details.
Absolutely, can do that.
First, for our listeners who don't exactly know what travel hacking is, can you give us a little explanation? What is it exactly?
It is using points and miles that you earn from credit cards, either from a bank or directly with loyalty programs with airlines and hotels, which you can redeem for hotels or airline flights. People can really get deep in the weeds from travel hacking, knowing all the itty bitty details, best routes, how to stack points using shopping portals. Sometimes, you just got to figure out what's best for you, especially with us being real estate investors. I mean, we have a lot going on already. So typically we want to make sure that you use the points optimally with your business expenses and so that you can support your travel goals no matter what they are.
So I want to go back a little bit and a little bit about the backstory. Like, how did you get into real estate investing, marry the two, travel hacking and doing your business?
So it started in 2021, right? In the middle of COVID, and me and a business partner wanted to start an Airbnb arbitrage business. So I had already loved traveling and I had the Chase Sapphire Reserve card for a few years. And I remember I already redeemed all those points. So I wasn't necessarily being active in the points and miles space. However, we joined a coaching program because we wanted to learn how to use 0% APR business funding because we're like, let's get into Airbnb arbitrage, but we don't want to use our own capital. Let's see if we can leverage OPM. But the coaching program that we took also showed how to travel hack because it goes hand in hand with your business expenses. Once we learned how to do that from the coaching program in 2021, I really dove deep into figuring out points and miles, how to optimize my business expenses. And as I started getting more properties, I invest primarily in Indiana, and I have all these renovation costs, vendor costs. I realized, wait a second, I spend so much money on materials, paying my general contractor. I should just earn sign-up bonuses and figure out the best cards to optimize my expenses so I could earn the most points and miles so that I could use it for free travel. And from then on, the rest was history.
Can you share what coaching program that you did?
Yeah, it was called Freedom Travel System. So it's led by Eli Travel Guy. I think his partners also travel with Tommy. Also, it's Allison Tackle. She used to go by Lucky Tic Tac, but I think she just changed her Instagram handle recently. But they are phenomenal because they work with business owners. Now their products are a little bit different, but at the time it was so helpful for us, and they're truly the experts in it.
Since you took that program, you've kind of leveled up, right?
But I still am learning too. That's why the points and mile space is so complex and things are always changing. So, and I think that's why it's a larger barrier to entry because not a lot of people are willing to figure it out because it just takes so much information. But at the end of the day, like I said, you can make it as simple for yourself as you want so that you could benefit from it from your business expenses and your real estate portfolio as well.
So you just got back from Turkey. So can you share how that went? How much did you save? We want to know.
Typically, anytime I have a property renovation, I like to, buy dilapidated property so I could force equity in it using renovations. I will usually open a new credit card. Not always, but when there's a good sign up bonus and it's really juicy, I'll open up a new credit card. And at that time,
Hey, what's really juicy though?
oh, when it's an elevated offer, there's the normal offers that credit cards have. For example, that like here's a great example at the time of this recording. It's the Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card. It's a personal credit card, but it's one of the best beginner travel cards. And typically it's usually just 60,000 points as a sign up bonus. But right now and for a limited time, it's 100,000. So that is huge, huge value. That's what I would consider juicy when there's like a nice elevated offer. I have like a list of cards that I'm going to get, right? I kind of go through and see which one works best. And then that way you could use your renovation costs, whether buying materials or directly paying your contractor if they accept credit cards, to earn that sign up bonus to rack up all these points and miles that you could use for nearly free travel. So doing a combination of that and just my regular expenses from my businesses and real estate really racks up a lot of points. Turkish Airlines business class on their newer Boeing 787 has a really nice business class product, a lie flat seat. It has an amazing food service because they allow like chefs on board to curate a meal service for you that's like really, really high caliber. They come up with these carts and let you pick as much food as you want.
They don't come in the plastic containers.
Oh, everything is glass and you get real silverware. So that's definitely the difference in business class. And for me and my friend, we usually take a birthday trip. Our birthday's in March and she's always down, but she's not really into points and miles. I have to kind of like teach her a little bit, but I found award availability from Istanbul to LAX because, you know, we're based in Southern California and it was 90,000 points on Air Canada. So what people don't realize is that airlines have airline alliances where their partner airlines can have award availability so that you could book flights on other airlines. So for example, it is still Istanbul, or it's still Turkish Airlines, but I'm booking it on the Air Canada website because they have the award availability there. What was even better was during the same time, I think it was American Express had like a 20% transfer bonus to Air Canada. And that's what makes it juicy again. So as much juice as you could squeeze, points and miles, the better the deal. And so I was like, oh my God, this is perfect timing. I found availability and there's a transfer bonus. So instead of paying 90,000 per one way, it was 70,000 points. So I was able to save like several thousand points so that I could use for another trip. That one-way flight from Istanbul to LAX on business class is $4,500, right? And I think I paid $90 in taxes and fees. So if you can imagine, these were points I was already earning for my real estate portfolio. And now I just know how to not only leverage them, but redeem them for really high value vacations. So that was just the business class flight. Huge, huge value on that. And then on top of it, of course, when we get to Istanbul, we have to stay at a hotel. My favorite hotel points are Hyatt. And that's why I love Chase, because Chase is one of the few transferable currencies besides Bilt that transfers to Hyatt, which gets you so much value for your points. So we stayed at the Park Hyatt Istanbul. That during that time, we got a King Deluxe room that was 413 euros per night. And we spent 75,000 Chase points that we transferred to Hyatt for 3 nights. Not only that, what's really cool is people don't realize that you could combine Chase points with other loyalty members and it doesn't have to be family. So me and my friend, we actually half those points. He transferred over 37 or 38,000 points to me. And then I used 38,000 points to myself and we booked it together. So now I'm decreasing the points cost even more to get an even better value. That, as I mentioned before, was in dollars for the 3 nights, $1,300 around that I was able to save, no taxes and fees. I was able to get completely free with points and miles from real estate.
Oh, so good. That's so good. It's very inspiring for us real estate investors or business owners. What do you think is your best trip that you've done?
Another really good trip I went on was on Emirates business class from JFK to Milan. People may not realize, but there are these sweet spots with points and miles where the redemption gives you really good value. And that's one of the sweet spots for Emirates. It's called a fifth freedom flight because it doesn't go back into the EAU, where Emirates is from. Instead, it goes from JFK to Milan. So during that time, we have to remember that points are like regular currency. They devalue over the time. That's why we tell people don't hoard your points because it's like you're losing money. Like the same thing as if you're keeping your money in a Chase savings account, right? You're just losing value. So you want to use it. So during that time, I was able to book from JFK to Milan for, I think it was like 75,000 points that I transferred from Amex to Emirates. And that flight was during the time of booking $6,000. And Emirates has excellent, excellent service. I remember asking the stewardess, oh, can I please have iced tea? And they're like, sure. right? And then she comes back, we actually don't have iced tea, but I brewed tea for you and put it over ice. I hope that's okay. They're like trained to not say no. They just need to figure out a solution for the, people in business and first class, whatever they ask. And it was just so crazy being a place where you have multiple stewardess attending to you, making sure you feel comfortable having everything you need. It's really, really top-notch business class experience with Emirates.
That's a goal of mine. I'm going to book that flight, I think. So here's a question people might be thinking about this who are real estate investors and doing things like fix and flips and have contractors and they're paying their vendors. A lot of times they just want to be paid in cash or wired or check. A lot of times the vendors I work with don't take credit cards.
That's where a little bit of education comes in. And this is where, for real estate investors, I wouldn't use credit cards if it's accruing a fee and the value you're getting is not going to surpass that fee. So let me give you an example. I have a general contractor and he will take credit card if I pay a fee, right? And then I have another contractor that doesn't like credit cards at all. But I say to them, hey, could I pay you through PayPal and I will absorb all the fees to pay you through credit card because this way I can pay you more quickly and I could pay you more. So you kind of want to negotiate them. Some are like easier than others. You don't want to force anyone's hand if it's just for the sake of you getting points. But if you could do a little education to help them understand, like, okay, because the reason why they don't want to use credit cards is they don't want to pay fees. But if you say, I will absorb the fees, I will pay you for that. Would you be okay if I pay with credit card? Because this opens the door for other clients that want to pay with credit card and now can use you as a vendor because you're using PayPal. Does that sound okay? But again, it's going to be a fee. So I only do this when I'm reaching a sign-up bonus, and I will only hit the sign-up bonus to the amount that's needed. So say, for example, the Chase Ink Unlimited, it's a great credit card, has 0% APR for 12 months, earns 1.5 points per dollar on all spend. That's great for real estate investors. That has minimum spend, I think, of $6K in 3 months. So I will only spend $6K of my renovation cost just to hit the sign-up bonus. And then the rest, the expenses for my contractor, my architect, I'll pay normally. I won't use credit cards because as real estate investors, we like real money. We like real wealth. We're not going to just accumulate all these points because we can if the fees are going to outweigh the actual points.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing on the real estate side?
I primarily invest in Evansville, Indiana. I have 6 single-family homes there and 1 quadplex, so 10 doors, and they're all long-term rentals. So that's on the passive side. But on the active side, I also do remote co-hosting for midterm and short-term rentals. So we're based in Orange County, California, but I co-host properties in Houston, Texas, Montgomery, Alabama, Euclid, which is near Cleveland, Ohio, and San Diego, California. So I like to combine, active real estate versus like passive real estate investing to get a more diverse portfolio. That's where I'm at right now. And then I also do like syndication. So I'm a limited partner of the new Terra Palm Springs Hotel. It's a luxury boutique hotel in Palm Springs, and super, super happy about that because it's been getting a lot of accolades recently by Forbes, Travel and Leisure, Vogue. So we have a really, really good GP team there. And I just get to sit back and watch them do their thing and collect checks from that investment.
Syndications are great because if you're on partner with the right people, I mean, it's just mailbox money, right?
Exactly. Especially because I still work a full-time W-2. That made a big difference in bringing down my taxes this year because I have a lot going on. But it's been really cool because I can't say anything yet, but it might be possible that Terra Palm Springs could be booked with points. Possibly. I can't say anything yet. It's getting really excited. That's the situation. Oh my God, you're like, my worlds will collide. And I'm just like, so excited, but they're like, don't say anything yet. We're not sure. It's just still a process and they have to do their audit. They have to do a walkthrough. I was like, oh my God, I can't help it. It's so exciting. That's so crazy.
So you're based in Southern California, but all your properties are out of state. How did you end up picking Evansville, Indiana for your long-term rentals?
During COVID, obviously, it changed a lot of people's lives. For me, I felt more of an urgency to learn financial literacy because I had not truly cared up until that point when the stock market crashed. And I was like, I need to do something. I need to take advantage of this. One thing led to another. And one of my friends from church, who is my business partner now, Paul, he said, hey, Jane, I just bought a house. I'm like, what? No way. Because he lives in Mission Viejo. I'm like, what house did you buy? It's freaking expensive. He's like, no, I bought one in Evansville, Indiana. I'm like, where is that? Guess how much it was? And I was like, I don't know, 200. And he's like, 38K. I'm like, for a house? For a whole house? He's like, yeah. And it cash flowed. I was lucky that I had the competitive advantage of having a friend that already vetted out the whole boots on the ground team. So I just copied and pasted what he did. But I think that's not the traditional path that people go. Obviously, they're vetting a lot of markets or talking to a lot of investors. For me, because I have that W-2, I felt like my risk tolerance could be a little bit higher in the case that I needed to cover, the mortgage, which was very low. Like my first rental property, the mortgage was like $240.
Wow.
That's okay if worst case scenario I have to cover, right? So and that's why I feel like I understand that people want to get out of their W-2 and a lot of it is warranted. But there are people like me who enjoy their W-2 or don't want to leave it right now. So I do think it's a great hack to stay in it as long as possible because you can continue leveraging that income to invest in more real estate with having a safety net, excuse me, and not feeling so anxious that you need to find your next paycheck all the time.
Yeah. And for people out there that are kind of thinking about real estate and want to just go cold turkey and quit their job and just do real estate,
Careful.
I'll tell you, it is much easier to buy a property with your W-2 paycheck to show the bank.
Your pay stubs.
Yeah. But there's also something to be said about how you ended up finding Evansville, following the path of your friend that had already proven it out. For someone first starting, it's like find what works and find somebody already doing what you want to do that's successful and follow that path.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important going to meetups like the one that you do, dear, so that you could network with other investors because a lot of the fear, a lot of the analysis paralysis that people have in investing in real estate comes from just not knowing. But if you know someone that did it and you trust that person, you're like, it's so much easier to jump in because, dear, if I actually analyze Evansville myself, it has a very high crime rate. The population is actually decreasing slowly. There's a lot of things that if you analyze it yourself would have made me not want to pick Evansville and not touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, those are definitely red flag indicators that I probably would have just, not taking that market.
10 doors later, still pumping. And not only that, when you get deeper into a market, you build better relationships. And the reason why I was able to scale more quickly than my income can support was because I met a lender that allows me to do subject to appraisal loans, right? That are commercial loans for residential properties, which essentially, long story short, allows me to wrap the renovation costs into the loan so I don't have to bring any money down. I just pay the mortgage during the time it's being renovated until it's filled with a tenant, and then there you go.
Is that through a regular bank or?
Oh, it's a very, very local bank there. See, that's why like if you make those like credit unions and very niche local banks at the local level, not even regional, like local, they need to have those creative products to be able to attract more customers because that's the way that they could compete. And I think only the first 3 properties I bought in Evansville were conventional. The rest were commercial.
That's super interesting. So it's a commercial loan?
Yeah. So it's a 20-year with 5-year arms.
Interesting. Yeah. The smaller banks, the smaller regional banks and credit unions definitely are a good avenue for not going to your regular Chase bank. You're not going to get that at your Chase or your Bank of America for sure.
Yeah. And what's really cool is a lot of the times we're like, well, Jaina, you live in Orange County. What is really your plan for these Midwest homes that cost $40K? For me, it was just getting into the arena and stepping on the court to play the game. I'm learning how to invest. And with each property, you get more reps as a real estate investor. With each experience, you figure out something new so that you become a stronger and stronger investor. And now, just last month, I was able to refinance 3 of my smaller properties. I took out all my money, right? So now it's like unlimited, return on my investment.
So you pulled out and got your initial capital back.
Out of 3 of the properties because they're so small, so I could get a bigger chunk. They're still cash flowing, probably just $60 less total, but still cash flowing. And now I'm taking that money and hoping to deploy it possibly in an Airbnb in West Virginia, but I'm still figuring it out at the point. But that just goes to show, look, you could trade up. And that's how people build. If you don't have as much capital and you want to start small and safe in the beginning, that's the game. You're like building it up and you're trading it up. And now I feel like I'm truly playing Monopoly now, dear. I'm like, okay, this is Monopoly now. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, that's how it's done. That's the whole idea. The cash flow game, Monopoly, Mrs. Monopoly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of interested because you mentioned Airbnb, getting into that, Airbnb short-term rentals.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. So this is the thing. So I was actually under an escrow for a condo in downtown Long Beach. It was an excellent location. It's walking distance from the convention center. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make this an Airbnb. And during the LA Olympics, it's going to crush, right? Because I think 9 or 12 events are in downtown Long Beach during the LA Olympics. I'm like, excellent. And plus, it gives me a nice place to stay whenever I want to be in that area. However, this is what I learned learning things that I would love to share. So first thing is that I wanted to use the short-term rental loophole to offset taxes of my W-2. And you could do that with a cost segregation if you have an Airbnb, which is I was going to do with that particular condo. However, I guess in Long Beach, when I did the cost segregation study, when they showed me first, they did an initial analysis. The land value of Long Beach is way higher than the actual property itself. So the land value was like $270,000 and the actual condo was like less than 100. I'm like, what? Really? And they're like, yeah, sorry. I guess it's like a Long Beach thing. And I'm like, oh my God. So when they did the cost segregation, they're like, you're not going to get anything.
Really? That's interesting. So you wouldn't be able to depreciate much. They pay the bonus depreciation.
The depreciation, like the first year, if they were due to like say over 5 years, was just the cost of the cost segregation study. So I'm not getting anything there. Only a couple thousand. I was like, it's not even worth to do it at that point.
I want to say that was really smart of you to do that. A lot of companies will just give you a pre-analysis and not a full analysis before purchasing the property. Because what a bummer if you bought it and you thought you could save some taxes.
It's not a bad property, but one thing I did learn too is high-rise condos are one of the slowest appreciating assets too. Even though it's in Southern California, downtown Long Beach, it was like $350.
From what I've seen is maybe the high HOA fees, right? Or like condo association fees.
Actually, the HOA fee wasn't high because it was a historic building. So because it's a historic building, it keeps the HOA fees low because they get grants to supplement those costs. There was a lot of pros and cons, right? A lot of pros and cons, but overall, I'm glad that fell through because it wasn't a good fit for what I initially wanted to do, which was that short-term rental loophole. So that's why now I'm looking to West Virginia.
Why West Virginia? What's in West Virginia?
I don't know if you know Jeff Shuey. There's a lot of midterm rental people that invest in rural Airbnbs in West Virginia, specifically by like the New River Gorge National Park. And compared to the cost of the home versus how much you're able to get annually for their short-term rentals, you could get like a 250K home there. You could do 10% down. It could gross anywhere from like 60 even to like 100,000 depending on your house there. And I was like, that's way better return for an actual house that obviously, because it's a single family home, I can actually depreciate much better than the condo. So that's why I'm in that market. Eventually I want to go back to California. I'm from California. I love California. But right now my investing journey is taking me elsewhere, right? I just got to go for where the advantages benefit me most, and it's possibly West Virginia. So we'll see.
Well, I know a lot of real estate investors always are kind of hesitant to invest in California for a lot of reasons. I mean, there's people for it. And obviously, people are doing real estate deals in California, but there's a lot of hesitation just because of all the legal. And not to mention the short-term rental regulation. Like,
oh gosh, yeah.
Where I'm at in Orange County, you can't even get a short-term rental permit anymore.
Where? Nowhere anymore.
It's done. You didn't get in the first phase or so, and they've run out. They're not giving out anymore.
Airbnb in Orange County is probably not supposed to be there.
Yeah. But you're doing all this on this side because you have a W-2 job. Like, what do you do usually?
I'm a public health professional, so I manage a quit smoking program.
Amazing. You have like so many things.
Thank you.
You also have another business, right? Like placing displaced families.
Yeah, so I help with temporary housing, assisting displaced families where their properties were damaged due to maybe a flood or fire. We all know about the LA fires, how many of those families got displaced. And it's been so difficult because the Palisades one, those are wealthy people. They don't want to stay in a home. So it's been really difficult to place those families. But a lot of the claims that we do actually are in the East Coast.
Are those the ones that you mentioned that you're co-hosting?
No, co-hosting is actually separate.
Oh, that's like a totally separate.
Totally separate. It's with a do a lot.
I know. How did you get into the business of temporary housing?
I met a guy, his name is Ruben, at the Midterm Rental Summit last year in San Diego. And I just vibed with him. He had really positive energy. He was just starting out, but he was very motivated from that time and figured out how to do temporary housing. And then within 7 months, he grossed $1 million in temporary housing, helping people find housing from insurance claims.
Where does the revenue come from that? Is it like the booking fees?
Like there's different fees when you're assisting them. But basically, when I heard about that, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I want to get a piece of that action. And coming from co-hosting, you are like an expert in operations because that's what co-hosting is. It's property management. You're the one who has to deal with like the broken toilets in the middle of the night, figuring out which vendors are available at 2 a.m. You are the one who are doing guest communication. So you have a lot of experience with systems. And I thought to myself, I feel like maybe he could use some help with systems. And then if he's making a meal by himself, imagine if like he has a team and systems in place, how much more we could do. So I essentially approached him and I was like, hey, I was wondering, were you ever interested in partnering up, building systems for your workflow with what you're doing? And he's like, actually, I'm very overwhelmed. I can't even handle all the volume that I'm receiving. And I was like, if you're interested, I could help you with that. I know how to hire Filipino VAs for very low cost. I know how to train them and vet them. And then also I could help you build out the systems. And then from there, that's how that happened. Really just talking to people and seeing how you could offer value up front so that those partnerships can work in cohesion or with synergy to be even better than they were with just a single person.
Master networker.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm not in the mood to be.
But that really highlights the importance of, especially when you're this business in real estate, getting out there, putting yourself out there, asking the questions, meeting people, and finding opportunities. That's how you find opportunities, really, is the relationships that you build.
Exactly. It's so neat. And it really, you're one relationship away from changing your life. Truly, truly believe in that. And everyone's connected. Like, for example, I just spoke about travel hacking to a millionaires mastermind in Phoenix like a couple weekends ago. I'm not a millionaire, but even millionaires are.
The people that you met, right? I mean, yeah.
I remember being like, there's this guy who just had like a 9-figure exit from his company. There's another guy that had like a private jet, so he didn't need to hear what I had to say. Another guy had like 6 million Amex points. I was like, oh my gosh, that's wild. So that's why I feel like, opportunities, even, chat on podcasts like this, open doors. If you're a business owner, real estate investor, it's really important to, start networking and talking with other people, even virtually.
I want to know. If you had 6 million Amex points, what would you do? That's like a couple around the world trips, I think.
I would take my family and my closest friends on a luxury trip to Greece because I actually haven't been there yet. I was supposed to go during COVID, but it didn't happen. So that's what I would do. Luxury. I would probably do Emirates first class. You can't fit everyone, but maybe we have to take separate planes, right? So everyone in separate planes is not enough first class seats. And then probably there's a new Park Hyatt somewhere in Greece, and I would probably do it there. And I would possibly have still points left over at that point. So it would be a group trip thing because that's a lot of points. And I was like, this guy that had 6 million points, though, he did know transfer partners because his wife knew. And I was like, you need to take all of us somewhere. Mastermind, because you can't even spend those points on yourself. Of course you can blow it, but I could really make that go a long way.
Wow. So folks dreamt about traveling and you own a business. The sky's the limit. You can go anywhere. You can do it really well and free. Okay. Well, before we wrap up, I like to do like a quick rapid fire quiz questions. First thing that comes to mind. All right. Question number 1. What's one book every investor, or in general, self-help or whatever that you can think of that you think helped you?
Buy Back Your Time 100% by Dan Martell. Not just because I saw him recently and I got his autograph on the book, but that's what we value. At least as Americans, we value our time so much. Sometimes it's like you would pay to get your time back because that's a limited resource that is energy that we need, right? That we can never get back. Money comes back, but your time does not. So reading that book really helped me open my eyes to having to go into systems very deeply and learning how to hire and recruit virtual assistants. It's a benefit for me because I'm Filipino, so I know how to negotiate with them. I know what's important to them culturally. So when I work with them, I use those cultural values to keep them motivated because a lot of the times these virtual assistants that are foreign will try to have multiple jobs, right? Would obviously interfere with the work that they're doing for you. But having that good relationship with them really is the game changer in having excellent virtual assistants.
Next question. What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Rich people are evil.
That's terrible. Who said that?
My mom. And I understand it comes from, scarcity mindset, coming up from a poor family, having to immigrate here. It's probably more political and more experience based. So having that ingrained in me as I grew older made me actually afraid of money. But it had to take a lot of work for me to unlearn that and realize there's a lot of great people that are rich that do even more because they have money.
Okay, next question. What do you splurge on without guilt?
Travel. And this is why, okay, this is my girl math, my travel math. It's like, if I'm saving $10,000 on a flight and if I'm, saving $2,000 in a hotel, there is no budget for food. If I want to get that Cartier watch, yes, I have more autonomy to do so because I feel like I'm saving so much money. Do I actually do the Cartier thing once in a while? But at least for the food and experiences, there's like no budget when I travel because I feel like I've saved so much. Anything goes when I'm traveling, and that's the way I kind of calculate it.
I love it. I love it. Living the dream. I love traveling. I mean, this show obviously is called Invest in Rome for a reason. The Rome part, obviously, for traveling, but also just to talk about living the life that you want to live and that you deserve because you work hard and you're doing all the things and you should enjoy it too at the same time. And if you can go for free, why not?
Exactly. And like the biggest message that people should learn, I feel, from this podcast is you don't have to wait to build wealth through your real estate and portfolio before you could start traveling luxuriously. You could do that now, even with no properties. You just have to learn how to leverage your expenses, maybe learn a little bit about how to redeem award travel. And that's what's going to make the biggest difference. Because trust me, growing up in a blue collar family, when you pass by that first class, section, you feel like a peasant. I remember thinking, man, one day I'll be able to do that. And that day has come, and it's not even from my income. It's from points.
But ultimately, the real estate, right?
Or ultimately that will get me there, but you could do it concurrently at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, invest and roam at the same time.
Exactly. Life's too short. Don't wait. Do the things that you want to do. Well, thank you so much, Jaina. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, I love this. And this is such a great concept for a podcast. Thank you so much, dear.
You put a lot of good content out, actually. I've seen on your Instagram.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's it. Instagram at Jaina_Anne, JAINA_ANNE. You could reach out to me there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, dear.
Thanks for joining today's episode of Invest in Rome. If you found value in this episode, please share it with a friend. New episodes dropping weekly. Like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Dear No. Keep investing, keep roaming, and keep living the life you deserve.